Hi, I'm Dawn Dines. I'm the CEO and founder of SOS Global. We're a social enterprise based in Exeter. My story starts working for social services. This was in quite a few different establishments across the county, but my main area of work was in a secure unit for child offenders. What I saw there really shocked me. The young people were locked up for some horrific crimes, and I remember on numerous occasions that we had to go in and restrain the young people during mainstream education. Some of the young people had horrendous family breakdowns. Some had committed crimes like rape or murder. What could I do to help these vulnerable young people to stop them from getting in this situation in the first place? And what could I do to help all young people make better life choices with regard to sex, drugs, alcohol, knives and gangs? There are plenty of services, charities and organisations out there to help young people when they've actually gone off the rails. But there was nothing out there to stop these young people making the bad decisions in the first place. I saw a huge need for proactivity and intervention. So I decided to put together a team of professional skilled educators. Together we went into schools, colleges and youth clubs, delivering interactive workshops that were informative, educational, interesting, challenging, but fun. We had a significant impact on the participants' outlooks by providing them with first-hand accounts on the impact of drugs, alcohol, gangs and knife crime from people who had been involved in it. Just to give you an idea of some of the reactions that we get, there was one particular student I remember, and when she went home, I actually got an email later that evening, and it was from her mum. And she said, I just can't believe, Dawn, what happened in the lesson at school today, because my daughter has come home and she's so focused. She now knows exactly what she wants to do in her career. And she actually wants to work with people suffering with drug issues and with mental health issues. Now, when you get feedback like that, there's just nothing better. I also wanted input from people familiar with the law. So we actually got in contact with barristers, solicitors, Crown Court judges, so that they could give us their take from the other side of the fence. And so began a germ of an idea, which was later to become SOS Global. And here we are. We have now been teaching in schools, colleges and youth groups for over a decade on PSHE and sex and relationships. And today I would like to share with you some of our experiences and learnings across issues like teenage pregnancy, alcohol and drug awareness, cyberbullying and knife crime. As you all know, new legislation concerning PSHE is coming into effect in September. We feel this is a positive step towards ensuring that young people receive the information and support they need to become resilient and make informed life choices. One of our most valuable programmes concerns making the transition between primary and secondary education. This is an essential time in a young person's life where changing schools and peer groups can be very stressful. This could lead to young people making decisions that positively or negatively impact the rest of their lives. I'd just like you all just to take a moment to look back and think, how did you actually feel when you were starting your secondary education? Just have a little think about the thoughts that were going through your mind. I know personally, I was frightened to death. I was such a tiny little thing, and going up to high school was very intimidating for me. So in this session, I'm going to give you a flavour of the work that we do, including some video footage. And we're going to outline some insights that I hope you will find useful, and you should be able to use this yourself back in the classroom. I'm also going to touch on some of the things that we're doing to ensure that we can still support vulnerable students during situations like lockdown, or if they're not accessible in school or college. So how do we work at SOS Global? We believe that it's vital for the young people to take responsibility for their own actions and to show the consequences of their actions. In our workshops, we hear from real-life victims, from perpetrators, from ex-gang members, and I think with this sort of work, we actually get to the real nitty-gritty of the problems, and the young people, they just really appreciate the reality of what we're trying to show. And because it's happened to somebody, it just has so much more impact. We have an incredibly moving talk from a girl whose childhood was ruined by drugs and alcohol. We run scenarios where the students do investigative work, and this is looking for a missing girl. We encourage them to understand the viewpoints of the victims, the family and the friends. We have a solicitor, a barrister and a judge who regularly come into the schools with us, and they offer their years of experience and wisdom to the students. We hold question and answer sessions, and this is where we all try to learn from each other. We collect and respond to feedback from the young people, and we always try and include some of their suggestions for future workshops. We encourage group participation where we play and learn at the same time. Whilst teaching, I gain the attention of my students with the opening line, we're going to be discussing safe sex, drugs and rock and roll. The more academically inclined are not always quite so interested, but it's definitely a real attention grabber for my target students. So what do we teach? We teach awareness and understanding of the issues that impact on teenagers and children. Knife crime, alcohol awareness, drug awareness, teenage pregnancy and cyberbullying. Before any session, we have a full disclosure policy, so the students understand that they can speak freely and openly, but they are also aware that any serious disclosures will have to be divulged to the relevant authorities. Having these firm strategies in place before we start any discussions ensures that we can safeguard all parties and, most importantly, maintain trust with the students.